오야 다치로 강가 다시 데레 테네 강가 데보도 기워요 이래요스.
So, first of all, greetings, Tashi Dele, to all of my Dharma friends. I hope that you are well. I hope that you are happy.
아니 다들이 간도 가족 마셔봐 노지 로르 그때 제 예시자니 생각하고 싶고 건도진도 왔어. 다티노니 또뭐 아니 시타바데 데스진로 잘했어.
And so today, as before, we will be continuing with the stages of the path with the Lam Rim, specifically the sequence of around 22 that we started last week. And so out of those 22, we have finished the first, which is the visualization of the field of accumulation.
아니 다들이 생정 뭐 내가 생정 뭐 어째서난도 그래 다세 생정이 내서든지 잘했어.
So today what we'll be explaining is the next point, which is related to the nature of the mind or the mind's potential.
다 셈세나 다 갈레비 같이 못하네. 다 그냥 내서가르 이나더니 셔바포했더니 셈미레 생각하랬어.
So the mind is very important in terms of any situation that we think of. We could say that it is the main doer. The doer is the mind.
다 알아서 세겠다. 야 소원하고도 다더니 뭐지 요되게 하랬더니 이나요. 코로그 뭐 간디시 예매도 코로그 내서 되어보지. 뭐시도요 말했어.
So in terms of our mind, we can experience the part of it that are the feelings that arise within the mind and so forth. But in terms of the nature of the mind, the actual nature of the mind, this is something that takes explanation to recognize.
세민요라 잡아대지고 걸어서 가서 세 걸어 내서 여보 따토고 매이자 걸어서 아니 농학을 내가 뭐 제사디마도 가서 하고 또요.
And so those difficult minds, right? Because when they arise, because of our lack of understanding, when those difficult minds arise, we cannot see, we cannot be present, and then led by those difficult minds, we engage in all sorts of different mistakes.
아니 세뭐 걸을 때 따니 보겠대 하디야 때 뭐라고 쳐다봐이나 아니 세 가래 이나요 걸어 보게 내서는 걸어 뭐 따니 대봐 이나 오 걸어 봐 로지가 이노야 요다 간가 과토야
So the trick here is that if we familiarize ourselves with the fundamental nature of the mind, we will come to an understanding. We will be able to be sort of aware of the different thoughts or feelings that will arise in the mind, and then based upon our understanding of the mind's fundamental nature, we can take many of those difficult thoughts, projections, and dissolve them back into the surface of the mind.
pena ya no to po inere control shu mo inere karina korole pikala koroga soma no jiti no ati jisman ro waje korol tani ta de ba ina mo koro se no ne shaga se no pa ta ro ya nesuji waris.
So, for example, when we have attachment arising, or when we have anger arising, when they are coming forth in the mind, we can think that the appearance that is arising due to this anger is not an accurate appearance. The appearance that is arising due to this attachment is not an accurate appearance. In this way, we are able to detach and we are able to examine, to look at that anger, to look at that attachment, and by that mindfulness, that mere observation, dissolve it back into the ground of the mind.
걸어서고 노트를 내가르지 마시 년에 걸어서 봐. 아니 매봐줘야 그 니빠 매봐줘야 아니 다시 된대 하래스.
So there are definitely methods before those afflictions can get us into trouble. There are definitely methods to be able to stand away from those afflictions and to be able to clear away those afflictions.
어떻게 좀 뭐시에요? 저 거기 가서 들어도 다 있어.
So there won't be so much more extensive explanation. As much as possible, we're going to try to explain this from the perspective of meditation.
아니 시고 돈바서고 다세 아버지 그게 내가 셔발라 걸 바지 뭐 뭐야 이제 돈벌 리도 세레레 자야게 제도 윤중을라 때네 소바 두가르지 파 실루피야가 같이 그래스.
And so then the holy beings, they explain that when we are trying to bring forth good things in the mind, positive mental qualities and so forth, at first the mind is unsettled, so there are many obstacles. So in this way, we're going to do a meditation as a way of kind of using the breath to expel those obstacles.
아니 지니 베제 또야 다데서도 그시레스 또나 소소를 때네 베도야레스로
And so this meditation in particular, it uses, like, you could say 2 words or maybe 2 syllables. And whether you use those specific syllables or not, that's really up to you.
나로서 노네 와서 때네 빠인다고 그때네 짜이 그때네 버게 저 빠이 노지 야레스로
So it is said that within our body, there are these chakras or energy channels that go through our body. And these are like pipes. They're like hollow pipes.
어느 엑셀인가도 의원중에 대해서 검자네 디니를 때네 짜마티 노네는 롱게 세게 가비 넘바지라 아니 페자라비가라 아니 세게 넘바를 봐 아니 쇼는 바디안로 와서도 그야레스
So the first step of this meditation is that we imagine that central channel or that central pipe, and that within that central channel, at about the heart level, there is a brilliant white sphere, which represents the essence of our mind. And what we're going to do is we're going to recite the syllable pe. As we recite the syllable pe, we will imagine that our mind, in the aspect of this white sphere, shoots up that central channel, out the head, and into the sky.
아니 하 세치니 바들라비가라 때네 단계가 저와도 자 옛날에 너도 나한테 라마다 옛날에 루티자도 간가 로로 노칼파 이네라 노칼파 터넬파 이로소 소노도 그야레스
And then we will recite Ha after that sphere is in the sky. And when we recite Ha, we imagine that that sphere, the aspect of our own mind, as well as all of the winds that carry that mind, along with any difficult feelings, along with any mental projections and so forth, with this Ha, they dissolve into the expanse of space.
담보고 리라워진 것 중에 당가서 하는 것 중에
So we will start with this easy meditation today. So first, just abide, sit, and put the body and the mind in a relaxed state. And just rest the mind's awareness on how is the breath operating, coming in and out. Visualize that hollow central channel like a pipe, and at the heart level, your mind in the aspect of that brilliant white sphere. Pe. Think in a relaxed way. The mind and the wind that carries the mind have been ejected into the sky.
Ha.
Ha.
So what did you do? Did you do no kalpa yinela? No kajachin boy is about Roju Karsak. So what about that? Just have a choice.
So the essence of the mind, together with any worries, any projections, nervous thoughts, and so forth, they have dissolved into the vast expanse of the sky because they are not pinpointable, because they do not exist from their own side. They dissolve into empty space. The body is at ease, and the mind is vast and relaxed. So turn back the observation to the mind and think that in terms of this mind, it is made up of these 5 sense consciousnesses and this 6th mental consciousness. Just be aware and observe. And think out of those 5 sense consciousnesses and the 6th mental consciousness. The sense consciousness are not the main thing. The mental consciousness is the focus. In order to be able to recognize that and to understand the mind, we need to let go of any thoughts and memories of the past. We need to let go of any hopes and fears of the future. Instead, focus on this present moment, what is happening in the mind right now. So because whatever object we could think of, the mind is able to see it, the mind is able to hold it, and the mind is able to comprehend it, we say that the mind is clear. We think of the definition of the mind as being clear and knowing. This clear and knowingness, it shows us that it is pure, it is able to see, and it is able to cognize, understand all. Another thing of the mind, 2 points here. The nature of the mind is pure luminosity. And the defilements, that which is unwholesome, these are adventitious, removable. The power of the mind is such that it is able to clear away all problems and suffering. It is similarly able to achieve both temporary and ultimate happiness. So the mind's true nature is like pure, clear water without any particles. It is not in the nature of attachment and anger. This mind is a precious thing whose ground gives us the capacity to, whether we think of love, compassion, or bodhicitta, the capacity to be able to generate, to bring forth any of those. Another aspect of the nature of the mind is that there are changes or states of flux that are happening from moment to moment. So So if we understand this, we understand that because one of the characteristics of this mind is this characteristic of momentary change or momentary flux, then all of the unpleasant emotions, negative thoughts, false projections, they are also going to be momentary. They are in the nature of change, so they will dissipate. Yes, samsara is in the nature of these difficulties, but that is not such a big thing. Why? Because also all of these things are in the nature of impermanent. They will change. The mind is the dependent arising. It is something that arises on the basis of many things. It does not arise independently. The nature of the mind also lacks inherent existence. If we try to find some pinpointable existence or essence, we won't be able to find it. If we understand that this nature of the mind is something that lacks inherent existence, it is empty of inherent existence, through understanding that emptiness, then we understand that attachment, anger, the other afflictions can be dissolved, can be cleared away. Now, on that basis, we understand that on the basis of this mind, we can reach liberation. On the basis of this mind, we can become a bodhisattva. On the basis of this mind, we can even reach the final goal of complete Buddhahood, full enlightenment. Thinking of all of these points, we understand the incredible potential of the mind, and understanding all of that bring forth a feeling of joy. Because all human beings, all animals, indeed all sentient beings possess this fundamental nature of the mind. There is none that is inherently bad. They are all precious and close. And therefore we need to bring forth a determination that on the basis of my effort, I will definitely put forth effort into being able to recognize the nature of this mind, the potential of my mind. So Geshe said that this was a brief introduction. We'll end it there. But, in terms of the mind, we understand it has a relative nature. It also has an ultimate nature. And if you want to understand these more, right, you can endeavor in some more study, some more exploration. And also the division of this mind into the aspects of the sense consciousness and the mental consciousness. This is a little bit on the coarser level.
tane mutabi nesu da tandri tangi tipi nesu teoriji kazu nesu mamoji wares.
And then on this nature of it being something that is impermanent, momentarily changing and so forth, these are all about the relative nature of the mind.
Se korogo roje tsani roe mebe nesu tigata kaze yapata ba yene de doge nesu pato wares.
And then if we explore as much as we search for a pinpointable essence of the mind, we will not be able to find it. If we think about the lack of the inherent existence of the mind, then this will bring us up to the level of understanding its ultimate nature.
Se tsani roya meba roje meba hakoso nan de chodo kontro du kanga mariba du kanga sen roje ba tangi tongre zalabare. Sen roje ba zuba.
Oh, zuba. Oh, yeah.
Ota te kandisi yina sombai
So then we could think that on the basis of understanding the lack of inherent existence of this mind, how does this help us to come to the conclusion then that there will be an end to attachment, that there will be an end to anger and the other afflictions? How is that so?
나제 말이 봐서 시벤데 저도 콘도 강가로 걸어서 니넨지야 그 참모 되라 자니 라야 바지 예텐자 되게 말이스 자와 되라.
Because the root of all of these afflictions, attachment and anger and so forth, which are rooted in the ignorance, grasping at the self, they are all rooted in a grasping at, if one seeks some findable essence, that one will be able to find that. And so that's really the direction that we want to sort of direct ourselves. And of course, we'll be explaining different aspects to get there, but this is the direction that we want to go and meditate on eventually. So this brings us to the end of the session here. And Geshe said if you want a vaster presentation, a little bit more of an in-depth presentation, there are the other classes, in particular on the weekend, and those also have question and answer. So thank you very much.